centuries, buildings were limited by a simple, brutal law of physics. The thicker the walls had to be to bear the weight, the less space remained inside. Until the 1870s, New York's tallest structures were mostly its churches, their spires soaring perhaps 280 feet, majestic but ultimately modest. No one could build higher, not practically, until two things happened. Before starting the video, I have a small request for all of you. If you are new to my channel, please subscribe and stay with me to watch more videos like this. And if you are watching from Facebook, make sure to follow my Facebook page. If you enjoy the video, don't forget to like, comment to share your thoughts, and share it with your friends.
First, Elisha Otis invented the safety elevator in the 1850s. Before this, climbing more than 5 flights of stairs for an office job was simply unbearable, making the upper floors of any potential tall building worthless. Otis's ingenious device, which included a catch mechanism that prevented the car from plunging if the rope broke, suddenly made the 10th, 20th, and even 40th floor prime real estate. Vertical living became viable. The second breakthrough was the steel skeleton. Unlike older masonry buildings where the walls supported the structure, the steel frame, first fully utilized in New York's Tower Building in 1889, created an internal spine. Walls became mere curtains, protecting the interior from the elements. This allowed engineers to build higher and higher with astonishing speed, shedding the centuries-old constraints of stone and brick. But the real surprising engine of the vertical climb was the very land beneath the city. Manhattan is unique. Much of its core sits directly atop a massive, incredibly stable layer of schist bedrock. This natural, unyielding foundation could bear the immense weight of the colossal structures that builders were dreaming up. In a twist of geological fate, the dense, narrow island of Manhattan was perfectly built to be the capital of the skyscraper world. The first giants, commerce and the cathedral. With the technology in place, the race was on, fueled by skyrocketing land prices in Lower Manhattan's financial district. Building tall became the ultimate status symbol, the three-dimensional advertisement for commercial power. The Woolworth Building, completed in 1913, was the champion of this first era. Standing at 792 feet, it earned the nickname the Cathedral of Commerce. Commissioned by dime store king Frank W. Woolworth, the tower wasn't just tall, it was an artistic masterpiece. Its Gothic-inspired crown, complete with flying buttresses and gargoyles, gave the building a powerful vertical thrust. But here's a curious fact. Inside its ornate lobby, Woolworth insisted on having a private, gold-plated subterranean swimming pool, a secret extravagance for a building built to celebrate mass commerce. The cathedral held the title of the world's tallest for nearly 2 decades. But this period also saw the creation of an icon that was never the tallest, but remains perhaps the most beloved, the Flatiron Building, 1902. Its peculiar wedge shape, forced by the intersection of Broadway and Fifth Avenue, made it a risky engineering endeavor. Many locals swore the first stiff wind would topple the postage stamp building. It survived, becoming a symbol of architectural daring, and it gave rise to one of the city's earliest forms of public street theater. Men would gather to watch the drafts created by the building's unique shape lift women's long skirts, leading to police trying to shoo away the 23 skidoo crowd, a phrase that passed into American slang. The Roaring Twenties, the race to the sky. If the early skyscrapers were about prestige, the titans of the late 1920s were about pure, naked rivalry. The race to the sky during the Jazz Age was a feverish, ego-driven battle to possess the ultimate crown, the world's tallest building. This contest boiled down to 3 projects, 2 of which were locked in a bitter personal feud between former architectural partners William Van Allen and Craig Severance. Severance was designing the Bank of Manhattan Trust Building at 40 Wall Street. Van Allen was designing the Chrysler Building for automobile magnate Walter Chrysler. They traded jabs and altered blueprints throughout construction, each trying to outmaneuver the other. Severance announced his building would top out at 927 feet. Van Allen, who had to design a structure worthy of a car mogul, focused on Art Deco flourishes, speeding streamlined steel gargoyles, and a sunburst crown inspired by a Chrysler hubcap. As the race neared the finish, Severance declared victory. His building was structurally topped out, but Van Allen had a secret weapon. He had constructed a 185-foot stainless steel spire in hidden sections inside the tower's core. On the morning of October 23, 1929, just days before the stock market crash, the sections were hoisted and riveted together in a stunning clandestine operation. The spire shot up, changing the city's profile forever. The Chrysler Building was officially 1,046 feet tall, suddenly and dramatically defeating 40 Wall Street. But the reign of Chrysler was tragically brief. Watching the rivalry from the sidelines, former New York Governor Al Smith and financier John J. Raskob, representing Empire State Inc., had even bigger plans. Their building, to be erected on the site of the old Waldorf Astoria Hotel, would be a symbol of American triumph. When they heard of Chrysler's surprise spire, Raskob reputedly quipped, "Why not build it so it scrapes the sky?" The Empire State Building's design was altered multiple times, growing from an initial 80 stories to 102. Its final height was set at 1,250 feet. It was a construction marvel, built during the depths of the Great Depression, completed in just 13 months and 45 days using a revolutionary assembly line process that saw steel beams, pre-assembled windows, and cut stone arriving on site and being installed with incredible speed. It was designed not just to be the tallest, but to be a monument to vertical progress. Here is the most astonishing, little-known detail. The top of the building, the Art Deco crown and spire, was originally intended to be a mooring mast for dirigibles or airships. The idea was that passengers would disembark onto an open-air deck and take an elevator down to the streets of Midtown. This ambitious, dangerous vision was never practical. The strong, unpredictable winds at 1,200 feet made docking suicidal. Only a few attempts were ever made, and the dirigible dock became what it had always truly meant to be, an exclamation point on the world's tallest building. The legacy, light, shadow, and the future. The Empire State Building stood as the world's tallest for 40 years. Its completion, ironically, coincided with the Great Depression, which brought skyscraper construction to a screeching halt for 2 decades. The building was even nicknamed the Empty State Building for its lack of tenants for years. However, the skyscraper race led to a lasting change in New York's architectural DNA, the 1916 zoning resolution. This law mandated that as a building went up, it had to set back from the street to prevent new towers from plunging the streets into eternal darkness. This is why so many pre-war New York skyscrapers, including the Chrysler and Empire State, have a signature wedding cake silhouette. They are not just tall, they are sculpted by law to allow light and air to reach the ground. The history of New York's heights is not just a tale of engineering. It's a saga of massive egos, bitter rivalries, sheer luck, and profound, almost irrational ambition. From the Flatiron's artistic defiance to the Chrysler's clandestine spire and the Empire State's impractical airship dock, these towers are the solidified dreams of a city that was forced by geography to climb and by its own spirit to conquer the sky. The City of Heights, built on a slab of bedrock, remains the shining, towering monument to American audacity.